I wanted to break down a few things here for you, why I firmly believe that mate switching needs to be the idea that is in the last nail of the coffin right now. Because for as much as you want to hear these guys like, respectable, evolutionary psychologists like Dr. David Buss and some of these others, singing the praises of mate switching hypothesis, the problem is it focuses on the wrong thing. If you look at dual mate strategy for women, it's essentially alpha fucks and beta bucks. It's what the red pill has been talking about for, at least in my perspective, has been talking about for ages. So when you look at alpha fucks and beta bucks, what we're really looking at is alpha seed and beta need. And I've been trying to be as diplomatic of that as I possibly can, because people will say, well, I honestly think that the definition of hypergamy needs to be opened up to those two things. So one of the things that I've been around long enough to see how the state of the terminology has changed in the manosphere, in the red pill, in game pickup spaces. There, if you look at my first book, I used in the digital copy, I linked to a sort of an archive or an index of like the analogies and some of the acronyms, like AFC, average frustrated chump, right? SMV, sexual market value. SMP, sexual marketplace. So we use those as sort of short form abbreviations. Well, one of the abbreviations, or one of the terminology, if you go and you look up alpha widow, the only place, the very first instance of alpha widow that you will find will be on the SoSwab forums, and then in my book, because I coined that term, alpha widow. The war brides dynamic, also in my book, another term that we've been using for quite some time. There are like spinning plates, those kinds of things. They need explanation, because people think that they're just like code words for some secret cult, like we're like Masonic, we got some secret fucking handshake or some shit like AFC, SMB. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. It's just for convenience sake. And when we started referring to hypergamy and expanding the definition of hypergamy to include alpha fucks with beta bucks, because up until a certain point, the word in the English language of hypergamy only related to dating up, okay? Meaning that, or marrying up, I should say. It was first coined by, I forget the name of the sociologist that coined the term hypergamy. And they were doing studies of the caste system in Indian culture, right? There's the Brahmins, and then there's the outcasts, and like all of the very tiered hierarchical caste system that exists. And the tendency of women wanting, or like deliberately strategizing to marry from one caste into a higher caste. That was hypergamy. Women marrying up in India during, I want to say like the 50s or the 60s is when they were doing this study. And that's how you got the term hypergamy. Well, they used it as such for a very long time. It only meant one thing: marrying up. That's it. Marriage being the operative state, the operative goal. It wasn't fucking up. It wasn't making sure you got a very super rich man. It was just getting out of one social caste into the next social caste. It was very much about status, for sure. And is money included in that? Yes. Is good looks included in that? Well, hopefully. But it's all predicated on one act, the formalization of monogamy, which is marriage. Marrying from the untouchables into whatever like to the Brahmins. I don't even know the actual formal names of that. But the long and the short of it is the only way that happens is through marriage. And so if we're going to look at the definition of hypergamy prior to, like, say, the manosphere, prior to the 21st century anyways, if you go and you look at the definition of it, it only meant marrying into the next caste. So that's the thing is now we have so many autistic spurgs who want to go back to that definition. They go, no. Rollo preaches this wrong definition of hypergamy. It's only about marrying up. And it's like, well, where have you been since, I don't know, about 2001, 2002, while we were talking about this and expanding that definition to include alpha fucks? So where does that come from? Well, if you go back to Mystery Method, Mystery actually was the first one to sort of define this. Now, other people have redefined it and have sort of let's see, evolved the concept since then. But essentially, women want two things. They want long-term security. They want babies. They want parental. I'd say this for beta bucks, it's parental investment, it's protection, and it's provisioning. Those are the three sides of the long-term security that women have always classically needed because of division of labor, because of sexual dimorphism, because of the big head babies theory, because women are the incubators of the next generation. They are effectively the vulnerable sex. So they need protection, provisioning, and parental investment from men, and have needed so since we were living in hunter-gatherer tribes in the sub-Saharan African savannas back when we were crawling out of the trees. Okay. So that's what we've needed. And that's the only side of the equation that anybody focuses on. And they go, well, and so when Kaka and his wife says, you're just too perfect, what she's saying is, you meet all of my needs so perfectly. I need you to get pissed off. I need you to be a son of a bitch. Well, I need you to I need to be able to fix you. I need you to have those dark triad traits that everybody says are so undesirable in men, but are really actually wink, wink, nod, nod, very, very fucking desirable. Thank you, Tinder swindler, for pointing that one out. You know what's funny is like you got Ronaldo. You got Kaka, who's very like absolutely Christian to a fault in protection, provisioning, and parental investment. And you know who women want to fuck and take out 9 fucking bank loans for? The Tinder swindler. That's what they'll do. And by the way, those women aren't young and naive, Dr. Jordan Peterson. They're not, they don't know. They know so much better once they get past 30. Fuck off. Those women were well past 30. They wanted the fucking fantasy. They wanted the fairy tale of a diamond merchant who was a Mossad agent, and so much so they were willing to take out multiple bank loans to reinforce their own bullshit. Don't give me this horseshit about like, oh, women grow out of it. No, they don't. If they did, then you wouldn't have Kaka's wife divorcing him because he's too fucking perfect. Okay. Like, at the very least, can we see now that the mate switching hypothesis in all of this is horse shit? And you will see example. I can probably point out, if I went back through my Twitter feed, I could probably point out people sending me stories about like, oh, this woman left this. Like, I can look at example after example that reinforce dual mating and completely destroy any validity of mate switching. But because I don't have a DR in front of my name, because I don't have evolution of desire in my fucking bookcase, then don't listen to those red pill guys. But here is an example. Here's another example. Another great example is this: Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey provided a great life for his well, I got probably his second wife, I think, right? The one who just got divorced. Like Rollo Tomasi was this guy who was right, this motherfucker, right? So when I see Steve Harvey's wife cheat on Steve Harvey with the bodyguard, with the fucking chef, she's not cheating on those guys because she's trying to marry up and get into a better socioeconomic class. She's cheating because fucking Steve Harvey is too perfect, because he doesn't have that. He mouths off on talk shows about like how he would kill any motherfucker who tried to take his woman, and say, he wants to be all a badass and he wants to talk shit about the red pill. Well, you're in the real school now, ain't you, motherfucker? Yeah. Your wife cheated on you with the bodyguard and the fucking personal chef. It's like saying, she fucked the pool boy. Well, yeah, the chef and the bodyguard, right? Because she wanted to fuck them. She wanted to have sex with them. Oh, she must be a loose whore. No, she wanted to have sex with the bodyguard. Probably because he didn't give a shit, because he was fucking built, because she wanted to get fucked by a man, not by fucking like a guy who's pretty much a woman anyways. So yeah. Now we have to recognize that there's an alpha fucks component to women's dual mating strategy. It is securing the seed, securing the hot guy in the foam cannon party on spring break because you were drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. That doesn't mean you're going to marry that guy. It just means you're going to fuck him because an opportunity presented itself. Why is that something that is endemic to our culture, to our storytelling for as long as it's been told. And this is not like some recent fucking event. This is not some recent observation thanks to the internet. Okay, this has been going on for quite some time. If you go and you look at like romance novels, they all follow the same fucking dual mating strategy conundrum. Who do I marry? The poor pauper who I really like to fuck really bad, or do I get the guy who's really my family love him and he's boring as fuck, but he's the Count of Monte Cristo and he's got a fucking castle and he's got this and he's got that. Like, you got to remember whenever Jordan Peterson talks about, oh, it's the Beauty and the Beast thing. Yeah, Belle wants to fuck the beast. She doesn't want to fuck the prince. In fact, she's disappointed when she sees the prince and the fucking beast turns back into the prince. She's like, fucking bring back that hairy motherfucker. I want to fuck him. He's the one who got all up in my, he's the one who tore these wolves apart. He's the one that saved me in the fucking forest. He also happened to imprison my dad, but hey, it's okay. You know, I'm good with that. I forgive. That's just all a big misunderstanding. Maybe he keeps talking, kitchen utensils too. Who knows? But the thing is she falls in love with the beast. She doesn't fall in love with the prince. Fucking Kaka is the prince. Fucking his wife wants the beast. This is not rocket science, man. Read fucking Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Like, the greatest love stories ever told are that same conundrum. Romeo and Juliet killed themselves because they couldn't be together, because it was like this perfect love affair and there's all the shit that's going on. I don't want to marry him. I want to marry you. Why do you think that prearranged marriages are so abhorrent today? Because it takes that romance. It kills romance. There's no chance of anything flourishing, or there's less, people don't think there's less chance of anything happening in a prearranged marriage. Are you kidding? God, my Lord, why would you want to give me away? What am I, chattel? But the if you look at like the stories, if you look at the reason I brought up like Harlequin romance novels, you can go back as far as like Jane Eyre. You can go back to Emily Bronte. Yes, I actually had to read those. You can go to Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, and you can go to all of those, which were the forerunners for most of the romance novels that you read today, and all of them are premised on the same thing. It's Titanic. Like, Rose could have fucked. She was gonna be married, or was married to the rich dude, to the rich guy who wanted to keep him away from, wanted to mate guard Rose, sensibly wanted to mate guard Rose from fucking Jack. He knew what was up. She wanted to be swept off her feet by an alpha male. She wanted the alpha fucks because the beta bucks was already there and established, and she was ready to go. She's going to marry the rich motherfucker, right? She even says, I would rather be his whore than your wife in the fucking movie. That's dual mating strategy. How the fuck do you not fucking see this, you dumb motherfuckers? That's what I'm talking about. It's short-term sexual benefit, genetic benefits versus long-term security benefits. And that's always defined. Popular literature, every romance that you want to know what romance is based on, as far back as courtly love and the high Renaissance, right? It's because of that. It's because that's the fundamental underlying algorithm that runs female nature. That's it. Oh no, it must be that she wanted to. They fall in love with their affair partners. Yes, and so do female teachers when they're fucking their 15-year-old students. They fall in love with them too. I don't think that's good support for you, motherfucker. So I want to point this out too, because I already have. Do I have this loaded up here? This is from my good friend Alex at Date Psych, because he wanted to point out here's what mate switching strategy is really all about. So I wanted to take this moment to sort of give you an idea, because people kept asking me to do something more definitive about mate switching versus dual mating strategy, which I happen to be a proponent of. Now, here we go. I'm going to read the first article here, and I'm going to respond to each one of these because it's going to lead up to this video that I've got here in a moment. Okay, thanks, Alex. Thanks for breaking this down for us, Chin Bun. Substantial evidence in favor of the mate switching hypothesis over dual mating hypothesis in explaining female infidelity. Let's go point by point, shall we, children? Relationship dissatisfaction is one of the most robust predictors of female infidelity, but not male infidelity. Well, you might have a point there, especially in Kaka's case, because She might be, dissatisfied. Why is she dissatisfied? Because the motherfucker's too perfect. Because Beta Bucks is already taken care of. He's got more money than God. He is Christian to a fault. He's apparently one of the top 15 soccer players on planet Earth, and has the Boluno de Oro, right? Something like that, right? Why? Who's she gonna trade up to? Like, who's Tom Brady? Who the fuck is Janelle gonna fucking trade up to? Who's next? The karate instructor? Yeah, probably. You know why she trades up to the karate instructor? Because she doesn't need his money. She just needs a fucking strong ass from here to Tuesday. That's why. I don't know what the problem is with Tom Brady, but apparently that wasn't enough. But his money, and she has money too. Once you have settled, here's how I know mate switching hypothesis is horseshit. Because once you've settled provisioning, protection, and parental investment to the point where it's like uncontestable, what's left? Alpha fucks. That's all that's left on the docket. So why would Steve Harvey's wife cheat on him with the bodyguard, who sure as shit ain't got the kind of money that Steve Harvey does, and the personal chef, who also doesn't have the same amount of money that Steve Harvey does? Why? So if that were the case, where does the keyword here, dissatisfaction, come from? Does it come from not getting down properly? Or is it because he doesn't meet my needs and he doesn't do it? Like, Kaka meets every single need. She says he's too fucking perfect, and I'm still gonna divorce the kid. Why? I'm gonna break up the family because he's too fucking perfect. So point one here, kind of just like, let's move on to the next one. Okay, next one here. Relationship dissatisfaction. There's that word again. What exactly are we basing the dissatisfaction on is what I would really like to know. The reason why they use dissatisfaction is because it's a container word. You can put whatever the fuck you want to in there. The dissatisfaction doesn't have to be, this is what they'll say. It doesn't have to be money. It could be emotional availability. It could be, it's like, how much more emotionally available did Kaka need to be? Right? They were married virgins. Like, come on. And here's the other thing. It's like the number one, like here you go, Christ pillars. The number one thing that's supposed to keep a marriage together is two virgins that are coming together, and there's their body count issues, definitely not on the table. You're too perfect. Sorry, bye. I got to go find a guy who's going to lay down the pipe. I need to go find a guy who's not a virgin, who will fuck me not like a virgin. Because if it's not that, I want to know what it is. If it's like, I'm out of ideas here, because when we're talking about like he's too perfect, well, in what respect? In what way if he's too perfect, then how is that dissatisfaction? He's too perfect, and I'm dissatisfied that he's too perfect. Okay, first, that makes no fucking sense. And then second of all, it's like, I mean, that's chick logic right there. Yeah. You're just too perfect. It's not me, it's you. But even after that, it's like, okay, well, what would make him perfect? If he had more dark triad personality traits, if he was more psychopathic, if he was more narcissistic, if he was more Machiavellianism, instead of like bringing me fucking ice cream in bed every fucking morning, making me Belgian waffles and kissing my ass and waiting on me hand and foot. Yeah. All right. Relationship dissatisfaction predicts female interest in extra pair sexual partners during both fertile and luteal phases of the menstrual cycle. Well, let's listen. Relationship dissatisfaction. The entirety of your premise is based on those words. Relationship. You've mentioned them twice here. Relationship dissatisfaction. Okay. Where to go? Here we go. We have to define what is dissatisfying. Is it the sex? Is it he does like here's the thing that gets me in all of this is for evolutionary psychologists who should be primarily focused on what is biological, genetic factors, evolutionary factors, and everything. And here we are trying to create a hypothesis that is in some way like of the same theme, of the same flavor as traditional evolutionary psychology, but it's the same flavor as social constructionism. Women cheat because of social constructionism. Women cheat because of status. Women cheat because they want to have a better lover. Well, what is better? Oh, well, he needs to make more money. Okay, well, I can dig on that as far as the long-term security is concerned, but like women will cheat because they want to fuck too. Like, where does that factor in? Well, that's dissatisfaction. Well, okay, the dissatisfaction is how are you going to define that? Well, they're dissatisfied with their lovers. Why? Because he's fat? Because he doesn't fucking lay down the dick like she likes it? Or is it because he's just not emotionally available? He's not all the nice things that women want to talk about. Like, oh, he wasn't meeting my needs. And then on top of everything else, the entire premise is based on meeting a woman's needs instead of the other way around. I'm so fucking sick of that. Oh, well, he didn't meet my needs. What about his fucking needs? What about his? I need 2 out of you a week. Can we meet that fucking need? I'm accustomed. Yo, Your Honor, I'm accustomed to her sucking twice a week. Yeah,
at least.
Right. Like what? Every single. I'm going to play this one back and forth here between a couple of psychologists and psychiatrists here in a minute, but you'll notice one primary theme. The primary theme is that men need to do better. Men need to be better men. They have to be let's see, relationship satisfying, right? They have to be relationship worthy. They have to have some sort of value added or some underlying qualities to them that contribute to a relationship satisfaction. Well, where the fuck is a woman in all of this? I love it when we always have like the first knee-jerk reaction that most people have to the red pill. Whenever like myself or anyone else who's sort of involved in the space presents an unflattering truth about women's nature, the knee-jerk response is the women are wonderful phenomenon, right? It is a need to defend the woman. And usually that, and like without even knowing it, like a lot of people don't, it's instinctual for men and women. But like if a woman seems like she's being, if some unflattering truth is being revealed about a woman or about like female nature in general, the first response is, well, what about men? Well, what about them? We're not talking about men. We're talking about women right here. Yeah. But you can't possibly talk about women just isolated and unto themselves without like bringing in men into the fact. Like, no, we fucking can do that. That's called the scientific fucking method. Okay. It's not diluting the fucking source material. It's not diluting the pool of the control group. That's what we're doing here. That's, you talk about the loose science of the praxeology of the red pill. That's why we do that. It's not that we don't say, well, men can be sons of bitches too. And there's some pretty unflattering things about their nature as well. But that's not what we're talking about here. And when we do talk about unflattering truths about men's nature, no one pipes up and says, oh, what about women too? No, they don't say that at all. They go, yeah, you know, men are real pussies these days. Men really need to do better. Fuck these guys, man. Let's go get a drink. They're all incels. I'm glad I'm not an incel. No, nobody goes, well, you know, women are incels too. Nobody says that. Nobody goes, oh, you know what? Well, men they tend to be egotistical. They tend to, you know, be self-centered, but whatever it is. You know, women can be that way too. Get the fuck out of here, misogynist. What are you, one of those red pill guys? That would be the response, if there's any response at all, because most people wouldn't even think to try to balance out the gender equation by saying, oh, women do it too. No. They only do that when it's women who they feel like they're being attacked by revealing, just like in the most clinical sense. Here's a fact. Here's a fact about women. It's not very flattering, but here's the fact, right? Maybe we can connect this to something else. Oh, well, what about, men do it too? No, not necessarily. And that's not the conversation we're having here. Number 3, women's motives for infidelity. Finding a better long-term partner makes it easier to break up with their current partner. Of course, that's the war brides dynamic. Congratulations, psychologists. You caught up to the red pill at circa 2012, right? Replacing their current partner and finding new partners interested in a relationship. Well, thank you for at least confirming the fact that what I've said in the war brides dynamic, which is that if a woman wants to leave a relationship, she has a much easier time doing so than a guy does, because women presumably have much more sexual options than men do. I think it was Sterling Cooper. Where's Sterling's? I've got a really good Sterling Cooper quote here. Sterling quotes. Oh, this was so good. The average, this is Sterling Cooper. Thank you for this. This is a timely quote. The average woman has the same abundance of sexual options as a male celebrity. Okay. So if that's the case, then yeah, of course, you're probably right about the fact that women have a much easier time moving on from a breakup. Red Pill's been saying that for forever. But the reason for that is because it means that the protection, provisioning, and parental investment side of the dual mating strategy is incomplete. She hasn't secured that. That's not consolidated yet. So maybe have you ever known women who will stay with a fucking loser? Who will we've had several of them on Access Vegas where they'll say like, was it Jen on the Block or something, says she lived with a homeless guy for like 6 months or 8 months or something like that. That was her boyfriend. Like her live-in boyfriend was a homeless guy, had no money, couldn't take her to Bed Bath and Beyond or any of this other bullshit, had no fucking 401k or anything like that, but he had a fucking big, he knew how to use it. That's all that mattered. But according to mate switching hypothesis, there's no way that could possibly happen. No, it does. It fucking happens because he's meeting a need, one basic need, a 10-inch. That's pretty much all of the requirements are for a woman who has already secured provisioning, protection, and parental investment through either a divorce, maybe doing it herself, her education, being a bad bitch, being, a strong and empowered, powerful woman, right? Through whatever means she has secured all her long-term security needs. The only thing that's left is the homeless guy with the big fuck. That now life is complete. That's all I need is a homeless guy with a big guy. Right? So yeah. A lot of this dual mating, the mate switching hypothesis has been covered by the Red Pill for years, like decades, in fact. Contexts that drive extra pair infidelity include signs of long-term provisioning failure and spending less time with a current partner. If she spends more time with the fucking personal trainer and not you, that's also an option here. Okay. It doesn't have to be the CEO of the company that she happened to just get a promotion at. It could be the hot guy in the foam cannon party she met on her girls' night out at fucking Dre's, right? Or at Wet Republic, where they have foam cannon parties now. It could have been that guy. Yeah. Or we've also said this is that the way you, I got to give this to Donovan Sharp. Okay. The way you know that a woman is like on the way out is because she starts listening to music that she would never listen to before. So she was all into rap and suddenly she listens to Swedish death metal. She's fucking me. Or suddenly she's a New England Patriots fan and suddenly she starts wearing like 49er or like Vegas Raiders hats and stuff. She wants. Women who want to be with a guy will find ways to make themselves compatible to that woman or to that guy. And so if she starts doing things that are really out of character, odds are there's something's going on. And you know what? Your instincts and your subconscious, like your peripheral awareness, will pick up on that, but you'll ignore it because you're an idiot. So contexts that drive extra pair of infidelity include, but aren't limited to, signs of long-term provisioning failures. You mean like when we say that the number one precipitator of divorce is a man losing his job? You mean that red pill chestnut? I don't even think these guys even know what mate switching hypothesis is. The problem is that they focus only on the beta buck side. Only the long-term security side. Like that's the only thing that women do. They don't spread their legs for any guy who doesn't make six figures, has a nice car, wouldn't mind, would be caca. Right? Kaka's the perfect guy. Why? According to this provisioning, protection, and parental investment, he's got everything in spades. He's got tons of money. He's a good looking kid. He's too perfect. But yet she divorces him. So there's got to be another factor than just the beta buck side. And you know what? When all you're looking at is if you're going to deny a dual mating strategy, alpha fucks, beta bucks, and you say, well, that alpha fuck side doesn't count. It's only what gets to marriage. It's only what gets to long-term commitment. It only gets to whatever is going to put more babies in her womb. It's whatever is in that woman's interest. It's meeting her needs. If her needs aren't met, then she's going to cheat on you. Yeah, but she's also going to cheat on you if you're not laying down the as well. And that's the thing is like, and I've seen Dr. David Buss do this. I've seen Steve Cyril Williams is pretty based. Alex from Date Psych, fucking Chris Williamson, even Mac and Murphy. They ask the wrong fucking questions because everything is rooted in long-term security. Everything is rooted in fulfilling a woman's needs. Everything is primarily premised on how do we get this motherfucker and this woman to get married. And the marriage that then we can talk about happiness in marriage and everything and qualify fucking marriage, right? And the only reason you're trying to qualify happiness in marriage is because you want this motherfucker to be able to make this bitch happy when they get married afterwards. And she's never going to be happy. It's this endless. You want to talk about beta male strategies, beta male sexual strategies. It's this endless chasing of your own fucking tail to make this bitch happy. What was it? It was Eddie Murphy was like, let's get out there. No, it's Chris Rock. Yeah. Let's get out there. Let's look in the mirror every morning and go, let's get out there and make this bitch happy. And he's like, you could fuck a woman with a diamond like Kaka did, and it still wouldn't matter. They will never fucking be happy. There will never be a point where she goes, oh, because they're asking the wrong question. Happiness is a proximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. It is what you don't be happy. You do happy. You do the things that bring you happiness. You don't go from point A to point B. And in point B, there's the end of the rainbow. There's fucking happiness at the end of the fucking rainbow. No, happiness is the distance between point A and point B. I can't see. You guys can't see what I'm doing here on the table here. Okay, number 5. Most 79% of women who have affairs fall in love with their affair partner. And like, why would that make any fucking difference? They also fall in love. Well, hold on, let me pull this out of here. There we go. They also, God damn it, hang on, pull that out. Don't put that up, guys. Yes, okay. You do whatever you're gonna do, gotcha. Kyle. Sorry, I didn't know you were doing that. 79% of women who have affairs fall in love with their affair partner. Does that include the plethora? Actually, I shouldn't say the what was it? 4. The 4 female teachers who were in the news for I'm going to be as clinical YouTube algorithm. This is a clinical definition. Statutory who happen to be female who took sexual advantage of their underage students over the course of March, right? We're in April. So it was 4 in March. There was 8 in the month of February. I'm keeping track. And people, if you can find me a new incident of, this is an announcement. If you can find me an incident of a female teacher either being in the news or going to jail or being sentenced, whatever, for essentially statutory rape of her students, I want that story, because what I'm doing is throughout this year, I'm tallying for each month, how many incidences of this have occurred. And no one that I know is covering this. No one that I know of is actually. People ask me when I'm going to do a video about this. As soon as I have enough, maybe 6 months or 8 months worth of these, that's when I'm going to go. I'm going to dig. I'm going to fire away. But just in the month of March, there was 4, at least by my loose Twitter tally of stories on this. How many of those 4 women fell in love with their 15-year-old lover from, I don't know, middle school or high school? They're sophomores in high school. How many of them did that? How many of them said, well, we have a special relationship. We were in love, blah, blah, blah. And how many of them were married when they where they started having sexual intercourse? That happened to be their student. How many of them did that? And why would they do that? What possible advantage, status-wise, or monetary wise, or provisioning, protection, or parental investment wise, what possible advantage could that kid have? Unless he's like just like South Baron Trump, right? Unless he's somebody like some guy, some child star actor millionaire. Unless and which none of them are the case, right? What possible advantage would there be to do that? And here, let me just head you off at the pass. Before they're damaged, There's something wrong with them. They had daddy issues. Blah, 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 fucking blah. Oh, there's something wrong with it. You can explain away any female behavior by saying, oh, well, they had a rough life. They were victims. They're they were beaten. Their husbands beat them. Their fathers beat them. Their fathers weren't there. This wasn't there. This perfect life wasn't there. They went to the wrong school. Mommy was a drug addict. She was a whore. Like, you just rattle them all fucking off, because it doesn't change anything. You still have a frequency of these cases happening over and over and over. Like I said, February alone was like 8 or 10. March, another 4. I'm already like 2 in for the month of April. I'm sure there's probably going to be more before the end of the month, right? But even if we're averaging 4 of these per month, that's endemic. You want to talk about a rape culture? That's rape culture. The rape culture that is in your public schools, because you can't trust your kids, at least your boys anyways, with their female teachers. Why is that not like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, like, people look at guys in this classroom and they go, oh man, he might be one of those kind of guys, right? Nobody does that with the female teachers, although the incidence is higher. You know why? Because there are fewer male teachers than there are female teachers right now. Statistically speaking, like, I had people throw this one at me. I put this out on Twitter about a week ago, and I was, again, I'm doing this to instigate, stir the shit pot. But I said the number of there have been more female teachers who their students in the month of March than there has been incel shooters in 10 years. And yet we are doing research and studies on incels, and we're going to make them, they're demons, and they're going to be they're terrorists, or put them on the DHS watch list. We have this research where we're going to go, of course, into just the incels.co forum and poll them. We're like shooting fish in the fucking barrel, but there's only like 4,000 active members. But it doesn't matter. It's like really legitimate, settled science research, right? Okay. Even if I could give that to you, that it's not bullshit, corrupted, like lacking academic rigor, studies and everything, let's just say it's legit. Why are you not looking at the endemic culture of that exists in our schools that is perpetrated by female teachers on young male students? Why? Because that to me seems more endemic than any of this incel bullshit. And the reason, of course, is because it's playing to the culture war narrative right now. It's an election cycle, and as soon as November 6th rolls around, poof, no one will even fucking care about it. Will Costello, you'll have your doctorate. Congratulations. Get your whatever the colored ribbon on your fucking cap is, right? Congratulations. Do some real fucking work, please. But why is that? So I put this out there. I said there have been more female of children, like female teachers of children, in the month of March than there have been like incel mass shooters in the last 10 years, because we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of the Elliot Rodger shooting in Santa Barbara, which will be in May of this year, right? 10 years ago, they're still harping on that. It's like, okay, what else you got? In 10 years, what else do you got? Oh, Alex Manazian. Okay, there's another one. What is it? The other guy, the massage therapy shooter, whatever his name is, George Sadini or something like that guy. Okay, you got 3. There you go. Still, there's some more. Who knows? They're going to apply incel to anybody pretty soon. It's going to be so loosely translatable, it won't make any difference. You got 3 right there. More women in the month of March, underage boys in school that we're supposed to be trusted. Like, where's that research? What forum are you going to go to challenge that? They're not. There's simply no interest in it. So that was the comparison I was trying to make. But then, of course, what does everybody say? Well, why don't you talk about male teachers? There's more of that. No, there isn't more of that, actually, because therefore, what was it? If it was 77% of it, this is the United States, 77% of your teachers, I think this is as far, I'm quoting 2016 data, but 77% of your teachers from preschool through postgraduate school will be female. That means what? 25%, 23% of your teachers will be male. That statistic, just the population density, the pool size alone, will disprove the bullshit about like, oh, men do it too. No, men do it too, sure, but not with the same frequency as women, because there's simply more women to do it in the school system. So what do you have to say about that? No, nobody's getting fucking crickets. But as far as they fall in love with their affair partner. Well, yeah, so do female teachers who fall in love with their fucking statutory rapist children, the children that we trust them to teach. Yeah, they fall in love. Who cares? Oh, they fall in love. Okay. Why is that a test? Why is that the goal state? Why is that the dynamic? Why would that be a metric by which we would measure this? Well, they fell in love. They fall in love with, like, I can go right now on Google and go, and just do this with me real quick. Go to Google and type in woman marries, and then just let it autofill at the end and tell me what you said. Do it right now, Kyle. Do that right now. Go to Google and type in woman marries, and then let the space, and then let it autofill. See what comes in. Woman marries ragdoll. Hologram, herself, bridge, dog, homeless man, AI. What else? Yes. Go. That's on your preferences and weirdo. No, but you can go and literally just put in woman marries X, right? Women fall in love with fucking chandeliers, man. Women fall in love with fucking with their like with themselves,
There's a woman that married a train station legally.
A woman married a train station legally. Was she in love with it? It's meaningless. This is a meaningless stat. Okay. Number 6, the qualities that women desire in an affair partner are very similar to the qualities they want in long-term relationship partners. Imagine that. Okay. Even if that were true, why are they still fucking why? If that's the case, then why is Mr. Perfect the one that she wants to divorce? If that's the case, why is Steve Harvey's wife fucking the pool boy, fucking the bodyguard or the personal chef? Why would there be a thing like hybristophilia? Why is it that women will be attracted and want to marry and fuck Jeremy Meeks? If you know who Jeremy Meeks is, go look him up. He's the inmate who went from being like this criminal in prison system to being like America's top model or some shit like that, right? Like, the guy doesn't have any of those redeeming qualities, right? The qualities they want in a long-term partner. Yeah, except for when you look like Jeremy Meeks. Why? Oh, it's because it's dual mating strategy. No, it is dual mating strategy. That's why. It's not fucking mate switching, because you're not trading up. One more reason, by the way, we need to redefine the word hypergamy, because it's not just marrying up. It's not just looking for long-term. It's not just looking for the bigger and better deal in protection, provisioning, and parental investment. It's looking for the bigger and better deal of the guy who's got the six-pack abs, who happens to be 6 feet tall, who also has a fucking killer smile and looks like $1 million and from here till Tuesday. That guy, maybe that's the needs that aren't being met. So we can actually force fit dual mating into your fucked up mate switching strategy. Okay. It's nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. Extra pair paternity rates are very low. Most women, this is number 7, most women secure genes and investment from the same long-term romantic partner. Well, that would be all nice and dandy, except for the fact that women, in the United States, 42% of children are born out of wedlock. Okay. So what are we talking about when we talk about extra paternity rates? Because technically, and you've heard me say this a million times, I'm going to reiterate it one more time, because apparently boneheads need to get this in their heads. If you meet a woman who has 3 children by 2 different fathers, and you step up, you're not the stepdad, you're the dad who steps up, and you marry her, because marriage is the litmus test for all of this, and you have taken on the parental investment, protection, and provisioning responsibilities of 2 men and 3 kids, and now because you thought that was the noble Christian good thing to do, here's your Christ pill, right? You thought that was the noble and right thing to do. Have you not just then now signed up for extra pair paternity? It's extra pair paternity. It's just like you knew it was coming. It's like you signed up for extra pair paternity. So should that not be included in the less than 3? Because it would be a lot more than 3 fucking percent. The only reason it's less than 3% is because it only applies to what is known as like proactive cuckoldry. Okay. It's the I slept with so and so, but it's your baby. And let's hope Fresh isn't a victim of this. Okay, yes, give me the jokes now. But the fact of the matter is we have socially normalized what is effectively cuckoldry. I shouldn't say that. What is effectively extra pair paternity? So what would the extra pair paternity rate look like if we counted all the guys who were not the stepdads, but the guys who stepped up? What if we counted the guys who took over the parental investment responsibilities of other men? Could we not? Because effectively it's the same thing, whether she lies about it and says it's your baby, or these are my kids, they come first, and if you want to marry me and fuck me, then you've got to take responsibility for them, because they're fucked up narcissistic dads. Those Machiavellian dark triad dads won't step up to the plate, and I need a man with some fucking benefits, right? Is that going to increase the extra pair paternity rate? Because I think it does. I think that signing up for marrying a single mother with God knows how many children, you're signing up for your own cuckoldry at that. Effectively, that's your own cuckoldry that you are signing up for. And in the nice way of saying it is extra pair paternity. Well, those kids weren't yours, and the extra, you can call it cuckoldry, or you can call it extra pair paternity. At the end of the day, you're fucking paying for the dentist, you're paying for the schools, you're paying for the fucking the juice packs, you're paying for the fucking fruit roll-ups, and you're paying for the mac and cheese. You're the responsible party in that, whether she tricked you or whether you signed up for it. That's extra pair paternity. Okay. Most women secure genes and investment from the same long-term romantic partner. I think we can statistically put the lie to that. So if you're going to tell me, well, they were with their romantic long-term partner and they had babies with that guy. Okay, great. But it still doesn't, it's, first of all, marriage rates are at an all-time low. They're at 6.0 per 1,000. They got as low as 5.1. So we can't really use this. This is going to swing back to the whole marriage as the litmus test kind of thing, which is what everybody is really struggling with right now, is what constitutes a fucking marriage in 2024. So if I have 2 baby mamas, is that extra pair paternity? If I marry a woman who has 2 baby daddies, is that extra pair paternity? We need to answer those fucking questions, because your whole mating strategy and your whole bullshit mate shifting hypothesis crumbles when we include those statistics, when we put that in there. And you know why it crumbles? Because the only premise, the only metric of success is marriage and long-term commitment to a woman's life plan, not to a man's life plan, to a woman's life plan. And you know how we get there? Through emotional fucking men who don't want to give up, who just cling tooth and nail to this blue pill bullshit, because their entire existence is dependent on that shit being right. That's why.